Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature 197, The Supernatural. This is actually a lecture delivered by Lyman Abbott, who famous Congregationalist from his era. He lived, again, like a lot of these spiritual figures, lived to be almost 100 years old. It's freakishly common that they either die before 40 or they live to be so ancient they probably couldn't walk at the time. Link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon. Second and third links to my books, blogs. This goes in the Scriptures and Religion section. There are other works sort of a religious character there too, especially on Theosophy and some of these other movements, some Hermetic writings, a few apocryphal texts as well, like the Book of Tobit. This is a short work. It's only 28 pages. And it's an oratory. This was meant to be, this is basically a transcription of a religious lecture. That is, it's not its own standalone booklet. The booklet is formed from what was an actual live sort of sermon that was given. And as a Congregationalist, of course, Abbott has his own particular views. Now, of course, caveat, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in the Christian God per se. That being said, I'm still interested in this kind of work, and the title is a little bit misleading. It's not really about the supernatural, like, folklore, fairies and ghosts and stuff like that. It's really more about his conception of a deity and how it evolved over time, where he said, well, I initially thought of God as an external sort of thing, an external force. It creates the universe, but it's separate from that universe. It is its own separate being. But then he came to the conclusion, outside of pantheism, which he was accused of apparently at the time, which is hilarious, and he said, no, now I believe that this deity is interpenetrating. That is, God is sort of everywhere. Salvation is this wonderful thing. It becomes more of a positive gospel approach. And of course, this debate continues to rage to this day. You have dozens of major Christian sects within all three major schools of Christianity. You've got Catholicism and its offshoots, the Orthodoxy and its various offshoots. Protestantism, of course, has the most offshoots. It's massively. And then I suppose Mormonism is sort of the fourth wheel, but it's really more of an offshoot of Protestantism. And so you have these various groups, and they argue constantly over the nature of God. Is it a triune force? Is it a singular force? Is it some meshing of the two? Is salvation through grace? Is it through faith? Is it through works? Is it some combination? Is it membership in a certain church? Adherence to certain ritual principles? And so you still have this raging to this day, and it's never going to be settled because you have multiple groups within Christendom. I like Abbott's approach. It's an interesting work, and he does get a little bit into the supernatural in a general sense, just the general sense of spirituality as being maybe an extension of his religious views, but he doesn't go into any specifics. So that, again, the title is a little misleading. It's really more about the nature of divinity. Of course, a topic that I've myself written about. Was it categorizing occult? No, it was the occult nature of God, actually. That was one of my first works. So again, link in the description of my edition of this work on Amazon. It is quite short, but it is very interesting. Again, in lecture form. So when you're reading it, it's sort of like as though you're seeing the transcription of a speech, which is true. Second and third links to my books, blogs as well. Other works available. That's about all. Peace out.